Hi, Todd Martin here with the Walking Code. One of my subscribers asked a really great question. How do we move effectively in different directions, forward or backwards or sideways, in a very small confined space? And then how do we use our body to reach out and grab objects in an effective manner? As you know, you probably should know that if you ask a really good question to me through the comment section on any of my videos, and your question pertains to something that I have not previously covered in the past on a previous video, I am more than willing to make a video directly for you if I feel that it's an important question that needs to be answered for a lot of people. So please do submit your questions to me, and I will do my best to make sure I point you in the direction of a video I've done before, or make a new video for you if I haven't already described that subject in detail. Also, I want to remind everybody that on June 6th at 9 o'clock a.m., I'm going to be doing my first Zoom walking technique training session for members only, where you can show me video of yourself walking and I can respond directly to what's going on in your walking patterns and help people to fix their issues directly. Remember, this is going to be for members only. I have quite a few people who have signed up already as members and who are looking forward to this Zoom session. If you haven't already signed up and you're interested, please do so because the space may be limited. I want to add also that you can sign up as a member on YouTube, or you can also sign up as a member on the Walking Code online course through my website on Kajabi. I will be sending out a notification with the Zoom code for members on YouTube as well as to members through the Kajabi website. Now let's get into the answer to this question of how we move effectively in a small confined space. So this may be, in my example, a doctor's examination room where it's a very tight quarters, or you could be in a kitchen or an office or somewhere where you have to move around and you're not able to just walk like you normally would. We have to be able to move in a confined space, and that's why I've chosen this little confined rectangle as a demonstration platform for today's video. I want to stick to a few principles here that we're going to use in order to move effectively. First, I'm going to talk about stepping versus walking. One of the things that my tango coach used to describe is the difference between a step and a walk. And for many years, I didn't quite understand the difference between them, and most people use the terms interchangeably. But after developing the walking code, I am now able to understand a little bit more of what my coach was trying to explain to me. And I think using the walking code, I can explain it to you in a way that is easier to understand, and you will be able to utilize it pretty quickly. So when we are stepping, what we're talking about is using our swing leg to place somewhere before we transfer weight. So I can place a step over to the right, I can place a step over to the left. When we're walking, and this is how we would normally walk down the street, we're using our standing leg to project the body forward, and so we're going to be moving a much further distance and more rapidly when we're walking. From the side view, walking, I'm using my standing leg to propel the body forward. And so 3 steps and I'm almost off the platform there. Versus a step, I'm going to place the foot, then transfer the weight. Place the foot, then transfer the weight. I can place forward, I can place turning, I can place sideways, I can place backwards. We're going to place the foot, like I was saying, using our swing leg hip. That's going to lift the leg off the ground. Then we're going to direct the placement of the foot using the upper part of the core. So I can turn my upper part of the waist to the left if I'm going to place my foot to the left. And depending on the combination of core rotations you use, you're going to be able to determine exactly where you're putting your foot. When you're practicing placing a step, first you have to be aware that the first thing you need to do is transfer the weight over the standing leg, then you can use the torso to direct the placement of the foot. So we change weight, we have a balanced position, and then now I can determine where to place my foot. Here, 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 wherever I want to place it, but I first have to be able to keep that balanced position. When we're placing the foot, as a general rule of thumb, you can use the heel when we're placing forward, whichever way we're going. And you're going to place on the ball if you're placing backwards. So as I do a turning backward step, I'm going to place the ball before I transfer my weight. Forward step, place the heel. Depending on whether you're placing in a directly forward or backward direction, or trying to turn the body and place in a turning fashion, this is going to be determined by how we're using our upper part of the waist. We can step forward by turning forward on the left part of the abdomen, but if I want to place in a turning fashion, what I'm going to use is both my upper abs on the left, and then I'm going to use my upper back muscles on the right to create more of a twisting action. So if I want to walk in a turning fashion, I'm going to use a full twist of the waist, which means upper abdomen and upper back on the opposite side at the same time. So twisting to the right or twisting to the left. If we use only our upper abdominal muscles, we are going to be either curving to the right or curving to the left. The energy is all in front of the body. When I add the upper back muscles, now I have a twist action. So that's different than the curve. So curving, twisting. So the twisting is going to help us if we're trying to turn in that fashion, where we're really trying to move in a circle versus just placing forward. If I'm trying to place forward or place backwards, I'm just going to be using the upper abdomen and not the upper abdomen and the back muscles. Now, the next principle I want to describe is the change of weight. Change of weight is what's going to happen after the placement of the foot. When I place the foot, now only after the foot's on the ground am I going to transfer my weight to that leg. This is going to be a very controlled movement. So if I can place my foot here, then I'm going to transfer the weight over. What I'm using to transfer the weight is my lower abdominal muscles to shift the weight. So I'm tucking my pelvis with the lower abdominal muscles. That's going to pull my lumbar spine towards that standing leg. And then I'm going to use the upper abdominal muscles to determine what direction I want to be facing in as I finish the weight transfer. So if I want to face the camera, I'm going to use my upper abdominal muscles on the left to turn this way as I transfer weight. If I want to be facing that way, I'm going to use my upper abdominal muscles on the right. As I'm tucking the pelvis with my lower abs, I'm going to turn this way, and now I'm facing in that direction. So I can always determine which way I want to be facing when I place the foot using my upper abdominal muscles, and then also when I transfer weight, which direction I'll be facing by using the upper abdominal muscles. All right, so that is how we're going to place the feet and change the weight. Now we have to talk about how we are going to use the arms to do things that we need to do in this small space. So we may need to reach out and grab things. We may need to pick things up off of the floor, or on any other variety of actions that we have to carry out. And the principle here that we need to focus on is moving from the core, projecting our arms as an extension of the core. So I don't want to just try to use my shoulder and my elbow to lift things. Number one, it's not very effective. I don't have very much reach if I'm just using my shoulder and my elbow. And I'm also not going to be able to carry things very well, because if I'm only using my biceps muscles and my shoulder muscles, it doesn't really activate so many of these other large muscles in the core that I can use to help lift, that I'm really not moving effectively, and I can be more prone to injury. So use your core, which means your abdominal muscles, your lower back muscles, and your hip muscles, to project your arm in the direction where you want it to go. If you're trying to pick something up, use everything to project the body, maintaining your posture, and then you're going to use the whole core to retract with whatever object you just picked up. So I'm not just going to take something off of a shelf and use my shoulders to lift it, because now I'm only using these isolated muscles. I'm going to use my entire core to bring it back to my center, where now I can effectively carry the weight. The heavier the object, the more essential it is to do this in a correct fashion. So you can do that with one arm, you can do that with two arms, but we're always projecting from the core, not just from our shoulders and our elbows. This is going to help you lift and reach more effectively. Now we got to add to that what we're doing if we have to grab something that's lower down, that's going to require us to bend. I think most people probably are aware by now that it's not healthy to try to bend from your waist to pick things up and then get back up this way. You're going to potentially strain your back. And you may not notice it at the time that you do the initial bending, but people often wake up the next day and have a back strain, or their back went out on them, and they not sure why it happened, because they don't think they injured themselves, but really they did injure themselves the day or two before, but the pain shows up later. So when we're going to be lifting something from the ground, or reaching and grabbing something from the ground, we want to use the entire body lower down to the position, so we can use the entire body and pick whatever that object is up, using the legs and the core at the same time. Also, for an example, in my exam room every day, I have to check people's reflexes. And so I would check their knee reflexes here, and then I have to check their ankle reflexes. So I will drop down and check their ankle reflexes like this, and then stand back up. I would never try to bend over and check somebody's ankle reflexes like that, because I'm going to make myself then prone to strain of the lower back and eventually pain. So always make sure that you're using your whole body to bring yourself, your whole core, to the place where you're having to pick something up off the ground. Of course, this is going to require you to maintain some strength in your legs and the rest of your body, so you're able to squat effectively over a long lifetime. Some people do develop weakness over time, and then trying to pick things up and by squatting becomes very difficult, and then we have to then bend over this way, and that's where you're going to end up with potential injury. So let me summarize the principles I talked about in this video on how to move effectively in a small space. First of all, we have the step versus the walk. Stepping, using our swing leg hip to place the foot before the weight transfer. And when we're stepping forward, we're generally going to step on the heel. When we're stepping backwards, we're generally going to step on the ball. After the step is placed, then we talked about how to transfer weight. If I place first, then and only then am I going to transfer weight, using my lower abs to pull my lumbar spine in the direction of that leg, and then my upper abs to determine the direction I'm going to be facing after I have fully transferred weight. Then we moved to the principles of how to reach out and grab objects and interact with your environment. And for that, we're going to be using our entire core to project the arm in whatever direction you want it to go. If you move from your center, you're going to be using all of your muscles to make the action happen, rather than just a few isolated muscles here. And that's going to be much more effective and much safer. Then finally, we looked at how to get objects that are lower down, or interact with the environment in a lower down position than your standing position. And there we really want to try to use the whole body to get to yourself to the position with your spine still in a nice vertical connected fashion with your pelvic bone. Interact with whatever you have down here and then bring yourself back up. That's particularly important if we're trying to lift heavy objects. Grab the object, lift. We never want to bend over this way and try to lift heavy objects because that's going to make you more prone to injury. So thanks so much for watching this video. Reminder, please join as a member either on YouTube or through my website on Kajabi. The links are in the description section. As members, you will have the ability to join in on our Zoom walking training sessions. Invites will be coming out soon for the next one on June 6th at 9 o'clock a.m. San Diego time. Have a great day.